Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Toni and I'm a homeschooling mom to 4 kids. I will start that right off the bat and tell you I'm not an expert homeschooler. I just have some experience over the last 7 years. We're going on our 8th year in the fall of homeschooling. So I just like to help when I can. I just like to share homeschooling tips that I may have come across or just learned through trial and error along the way. How can you know if you could actually handle homeschooling? That's the question of the day. I'm gonna give you 5 quick things that you can ask yourself to see if you could actually handle homeschooling. So if you wanna see what those are, then stay tuned. Okay, number 1 is the easiest question of all. Do you have kids? Okay, you have kids? All right, you can homeschool. There you go. Super easy. You need kids to be able to homeschool. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is a little bit more complicated. Do you love your kids? You do? Okay, then you can homeschool. If you have kids and if you love your kids, then you can homeschool. If you want what's best for them, now what's best for them may not be homeschooling. I totally get that some people send their kids to school and that is what's best for them. I went to public school my entire life, so I wasn't homeschooled. If you love your kids, then you can homeschool. Number 3, do you have patience? Oh, you don't? Neither do I. Okay, so we can get that out of the way. You do not have to be a super patient person. You don't have to be this amazing, like Michelle Duggar kind of mom to be able to homeschool. I promise. I don't have a lot of patience, but guess what? Through prayer, the Lord gives me patience every single day because I do need it. And it's taken me many years. I'm still learning every single year. When we're doing math and somebody gets stumped on something and I know I have explained it the best that I could, I start to lose my patience. The Lord teaches me every single day how to be more patient with my kids. So do you have to start off being this super patient person? No, you don't. So we're gonna get that out of the way. Number 4, do you have to have a degree in education? No, you don't. I don't. I got a bachelor's degree, but it was not in education. I've never taken any education classes my entire life. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job. My kids are learning, they're surviving, everything's fine. So you do not have to have a teaching degree. You do not have to have an education degree. You don't even have to have a college degree. If you didn't go to college, guess what? You can still learn to teach. You can still homeschool your kids, even if you never went to college. Isn't that cool? It's pretty awesome. So if you have kids, if you love your kids, whether you have patience or not, you're gonna get more patience and you'll figure out how to do it. And you don't have to have a degree, okay? So that's pretty easy. I think number 5 is that thing that everybody, besides the patience thing, I think number 5 is that thing that everybody thinks, I could never homeschool because I couldn't teach math past grade 4, or I don't remember anything about history growing up, so I couldn't teach history, and I did terrible in science, so there's no way I could teach chemistry. Guess what? The curriculum choices out there are amazing. There are curriculums out there that word for word tell you exactly what to say to your kids as if you're in a school and you just say it, you read it to your kids, they learn, it works perfectly. Then you might later gradually get into curriculum that's a little less scripted and a little more just kind of you're learning with them. Charlotte Mason is an amazing approach where you do a lot with living books. So if you know how to read, you can totally homeschool your kids. All you need to do is get some good books, read to your kids. So really, if you have the heart for it, you don't have to have the knowledge. I promise you, I'm pretty sure I slept through every single, well, maybe not all of them, but I slept through most of my history classes in high school. I know that's terrible, but I really found it super boring. And my teacher was like very monotone, and I feel like he always turned the lights out and we had to look like he put stuff on a projector, and as soon as the lights were out, I fell asleep. I don't remember anything about history. Like really, I mean, it's embarrassing how much I don't remember. But I'm learning with my kids and it's fun and it's kind of cool. And you know what? They know right off the bat that I don't know some of these answers. And so we either discover it together or we ask dad if we really need to. But for the most part, we can look it up in a book and we can discover it together. And they don't care that I don't know all the answers. I think they might appreciate that I don't, that we're learning it together. We just read something this morning in history that I actually said out loud as soon as I read it. I was like, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. So, you know, they're seeing that, hey, we're learning this together and there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so here's my point. The reason I'm sharing this is because I can't tell you how many times I have been told, you've either probably said this or you've been told by someone, I could never homeschool. I don't know how you do it. There's no way I could ever do it. And so many people say that. And I feel like you're really selling yourself short by saying that, because, and I said it too, I was like, I'll never homeschool my kids, man. Well, never say never, because now I homeschool my kids and I love it and it's amazing. And it's hard. It's not easy. It is hard. You have to be committed to it. And I do think it's something that some people maybe are called to do. I feel like it is something that God has called me to do. I'm sure not everybody feels called to do it, but I know that's how I feel. And I know there's some people that feel like their kids should be in the school system with other kids, and that's totally fine too. You do what you feel. But if you feel like the Lord is laying on your heart to homeschool your kids, or you just feel like this is what would be best for my kids, but I don't think I can handle it, you can handle it. I promise you. It takes a lot of prayer. Like I said, it's taken a lot of prayer for me to get patience. I really was probably the least patient person. Like growing up as a kid, I was very impatient, but I've come a long way. You can do it if you're committed to your kids and you love your kids and you want what's best for them. It can be an amazing thing. And it just kind of, it really makes me sad to hear people say, I could never homeschool, because you really could, unless you really, really don't like your kids and don't want to spend time with them, or unless you just think that homeschooling would be the most miserable, painful thing. It's probably not for you then. But if you really have that urge inside of you and feel like, man, I really feel like this is something that I would love to do, I just don't think I can, give it a try. I bet you can. If you find yourself the right curriculum, the right tools, the right support, get other homeschool moms around you, find a co-op, you'll see that we all probably feel that way. There's years, even after homeschooling for 7 years, that I still feel sometimes like, what am I doing? But I know that this is what God has called me to do, and I know that I'm doing the right thing. I'm not amazing at it. There are many times where I fail, but I don't give up. Just like in your marriage. Your marriage isn't always, sunshine and rainbows, but you don't give up. You just keep working at it and you get better, like with so many things in life. So my point of this video is just to reassure you that if you've ever considered homeschooling, or if you're in homeschooling, maybe you've been in it this year. I have some friends who have homeschooled this past year for the first time. Homeschooling during a pandemic with the public school curriculum is way, way different than homeschooling with a curriculum that you chose that you think fits your kids. So it's fine if you don't want to continue homeschooling your kids, but if you're in that position where you're like, oh, this was a terrible year, my suggestion would be don't give up, give it a try, but maybe really explore other curriculum and see what's out there, because I will tell you, it is a 180 when you look at like I don't know what it's called, but the K-12 or just whatever it is that they send home for like doing public school at home versus doing like a Living Books education, a Charlotte Mason education, or a classical education. They've got all these different education types, which you can just look it up. You don't even have to know what eclectic is one of those, where you're kind of a combination of everything, which is kind of me, because I don't know what all the other ones mean. It doesn't matter. If you find something that works for your family, you really feel like it's a good fit, and you feel like it's something that you can teach versus trying to do exactly what the public school does, I guarantee you're going to see a major difference. It does take time. It does take prayer. I don't know how people do it without the Lord. I know some people do, but I really encourage you to give it a try. If you think you might be able to homeschool, give it a try. If you think you can't, I want you to give it a try, because I really do think almost anybody could homeschool. I'm sure there's some people that it would be a really bad idea for their kids, but I think for the most part, if you have that in your heart and you feel like you should do that for your kids, then you could homeschool. Well, guys, that's all I have for you today. I feel like that's something that the Lord has laid on my heart, that I just wanted to encourage you. I wanted to just kind of get rid of that phrase of I could never homeschool. I just don't like hearing it. I hate hearing it, because I know that I said that at one point, and I see that that's totally not true. So I hope that you were encouraged by this. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you like things about homeschooling and thrifty lifestyle, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you click that little notification bell, it'll notify you every time one of my new videos comes out. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.